At this time, I'd like to turn to connecting or a theoretical discussion um, about a theoretical with respect to ethics about why you should be moral and what Plato had to say about it. And I'd like to connect that with some of the moral dilemmas that you've encountered when looking at watching the movie Wall Street. But maybe I just want to remind you of a few things in general. Why Wall Street, the movie? I think what's kind of interesting is several things. I mean, one thing to keep in mind is I always like the students to be exposed to the fact that here in the New York City metropolitan area, we really live in the financial capital of the world, and there are many jobs to be had on Wall Street other than the kind of jobs that we're talking about that are really discussed in the movie. It's a very large employer, and there are many, many, many different kinds of jobs and careers to pursue on Wall Street. Now, what's Wall Street all about? Why is everybody talking about it? Well, the way our system works, you can own a portion of a corporation. That is, corporations sell ownership, stock ownerships, shares of the company. So you buy shares of the company, and there are all kinds of rules that the government's set up to make it assist to make the market efficient and to make sure that people don't get cheated out of money unfairly, and that there are a set of rules. But these are all done by the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, SEC that is. Um, and we have a set of rules, stuff you can find out. Read some stuff. You could probably find a bunch of stuff up in a bunch of stuff about this in Wikipedia. Now, the setting on Wall Street of the movie is really within a certain brokerage house. Sometimes they call them an investment banking house. Brokerage house is where Bud Fox is making cold calls, trying to sell people on investing. And the idea is, and I hope this happens to everybody, that you'll make enough money that you'll be looking for somewhere to you'll be saving up for a rainy day, so to speak, or for your retirement, and you're going to be looking to buy some kind of investment that will grow while you're waiting, or you making giving you a large amount of pension so that you'll be able to retire at some point. I mean, that's the concept behind it. And brokers call people and they're basically compensated by selling stocks. Now, Gordon Gecko is an investor. You might call him investment banking. And Gordon Gecko was actually Bud Fox, who was the broker, had suggested Teldar paper, and Gordon Gecko said, "Oh, buy a little bit of it from me." And he really was not impressed with it. Didn't think he was going to make a lot of money from it. Nonetheless, he decides to have a takeover of Teldar paper, and there's a scene in which we're taken to a shareholders meeting. Usually, they have the at shareholders meetings, they have the officers of the company, the board of the company. They're answering questions, talking about the direction of the corporation. And in publicly held corporations, I think that there's a requirement that they hold a shareholder meeting once a year. Now, what goes on at this shareholder meeting is that the Gordon Gecko gets a chance to speak. He's now a major stockholder in Teldar Paper, and what he does is something that's sometimes called a corporate raider. That is, you buy a company because you see that the company has various assets, has various maybe portions of the company that are worth a certain amount of money. And what corporate raiders sometimes do is they find investments where it's a large corporation has many businesses where they've decided that they could break the business up and sell it off so that it's worth the parts are worth more than the whole company. So first they want to take over the company and then they want to sell the parts. Now, in trying to justify the takeover of the company, Gordon Gecko gives a speech about greed is good. Now, notice the term good here. It sounds like a moral term, and it seems that he is defending that it is a moral term. That is, the right thing to do is to be greedy, and he gives you all kinds of reasons why the stockholders should be greedy and want to elect him to the board and for them to take over Teldar and do what they're planning on doing. Okay, so now I'd like to turn just for a second back to our, let me make sure I'm in the right place. Yeah, okay. Now you're going to see that I'm asking a question to relate the issue of why somebody should be moral or whether there's a good reason and the Teldar stock situation in particular with the Gordon Gecko making the greed is good speech. And I want you to assess whether, in fact, is there a reason he should be moral? Is he being immoral? Is he being moral? That is he doing the right thing in the case of Teldar paper? With that, give it some thought. Make an outline of the points you want to make to answer these questions that I'm posing. Read them carefully, and I will hear from you there.